Sure.
toothbrush. Generally, one toothbrush isn't better than another. What is important is the effectiveness of your brushing technique along with consistency.
Well,
People
if
who
you
are
want any
good at
questions
their
today,
arms, shoulders, or hands
they can email you.
Yeah, they can email me questions.
So is that an
Power
iPad?
toothbrushes
I think it's working.
typically have a larger handle
Bill
than
just
manual
got one.
toothbrushes
Can they email?
Hello?
Can you get emails
No.
on it right now?
Also, children
Not
are
working.
interested in brushing.
We'll have them
Often
email
excited with the idea
Larry's.
of a power toothbrush.
That will eliminate.
Let's just
That'll eliminate JC from
probably pass.
So, look for toothbrushes
So-
with the ADA seal of acceptance, a symbol which guarantees you're receiving a quality product. If you have any questions about what's
Hey,
the
Greg,
best
there's
type
the
of
pad
toothbrush
paper in
for
that
you,
bag right there.
speak with your dentist. For the ADA Dental Minute, I'm Dr. Maria Lopez Howard.
That one?
For more
Yes.
information,
Thank
visit
you.
our website at
You're the
ada.org.
best.
You can get scores the next morning, or you can experience the thrill and excitement of every snap live on Jackson's very own Newstalk 970 WKHM.
You wanna go to a party Saturday night?
Is that that Dine and Bash thing? I was gonna buy a ticket. Why?
I get a free one for you. If you
Oh, I
go.
think I'll buy a ticket because they need the money. Apparently they're not making enough. But thank you. Maybe Larry wants it. Larry should be there. Hobnobbing. You're not gonna go?
Me? No, I'm not going. Welcome back on WKHM, WKHM.com, Thinking Real Estate. With Prudential Premier Properties Chief Executive Officer Laura Dwyer-Schletke.
Playing all roles today.
Right.
We don't have Jackie or Mark.
Wow.
Mark's on assignment in Washington.
It's like Batman and Robin without Batman and Robin. Something
So
like
who am
that.
I? Catwoman?
Yeah. You said it.
There's a new Catwoman
You said
out,
it.
you know.
Huh?
There's a new movie coming out on that. Catwoman.
Really?
Yeah,
Who knew?
I know, and I tell you the actress's name, but I'm so bad with names on that. It was on the Today Show the other day.
Oh, okay. Well, when you think about it.
If I remember her name. She's popular right now. But anyhow, so, beautiful day.
Yeah, nice day.
And today we have Larry Schaefer, our new city manager, with us. Welcome.
Yay!
Laura, good morning. How are you?
All right, Larry.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We don't have phone lines. It must be the hurricane that's hitting the East Coast.
I don't know.
Has affected your lines.
We had a 5-minute thunderstorm last night.
And it took you out. If you weren't out in the middle
No,
of nowhere.
they worked this morning.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
They,
So don't call this show right now.
well, they could call, but they're not going to get anywhere.
Hopefully our crack staff is working on that as we speak.
Right, and we don't have Mark, so there's no emailing. And I didn't bring my cell phone in, which
Good.
I usually don't because I would get distracted, and I don't like to be distracted.
So it's exclusive Larry today.
It is. It is. So it's just between Greg and I asking you questions. Are you going to be able to handle that?
I'm not certain. Of course, I won't walk off the show, though. But
Thank you.
What's the old adage for city managers? Often wrong, never in doubt.
That's a good one.
So, you're living here in Jackson,
I am.
and I do have a question. Are you registered to vote?
I am. I am registered to vote.
Good.
And
Because I have one of those forms with me in case you were.
no, I am registered to vote. As a matter of fact, I just received a notification from the Secretary of State's office that my registration has been accepted. I had to move my Michigan license from Mount Pleasant to Jackson. I actually live at Nelson Towers down in West Michigan.
That's a cool place.
It's a very nice place. I have the opportunity, I'm on the 8th floor and I'm looking towards the park, Cascade, so I have a great view of the fireworks. I had a wonderful view of the Balloon Festival.
Wow.
So,
So are you paying a premium for that
Oh.
extra view?
yes, a little bit of a view tax. But we don't talk much about the view tax.
No, no. Is there a deck on that one?
There is a deck
Oh,
on
so that makes it even better.
It's very nice.
Wow.
But I just received notification today that the propane grill is not allowed on the deck. So if I was to have a grill, it would have to be a charcoal grill.
Really?
So I don't understand the distinction between the two, but apparently the propane grill is deemed to be more dangerous than
That's
a
interesting.
charcoal grill.
I would think it'd be the other way with the ashes, but I don't. Obviously, I don't know.
The ash is raining down on balconies below us, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think I might forego the grilling on the balcony.
And grilling, it's almost over anyways. Although
No,
you can do
we're
it in the
not.
winter.
We grill,
so
right.
all year
We
round.
grill all year.
Right.
Yeah. The best grilling day actually is Super Bowl Sunday.
That's a good, yeah.
Absolutely. So that's the day that you put the full turkey on the grill, and then during the day you can cook a variety of steaks, chickens, whatever.
So
You're not like a New England fan, are you?
Yes. Well, moving right along.
Well, just to remind you, I'm only 3 or 4 doors down from you, so you can invite Bill and I over for dinner.
I actually am a New England fan, and
Oh no!
but I am
Mary.
starting to learn a little bit about the Lions, and
They play Saturday. You know.
They do play Saturday. I don't know if Tom Brady will play for the Patriots. Some of the information I'm receiving back from Massachusetts is that he may set this one out, but the Lions.
Do you have that direct line to Belichick?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have a direct line. No one has a direct line to Belichick.
I didn't think so.
Even the president can't get
His
into
wife
it.
can't talk to him.
Absolutely. So, but
Glad you guys know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well,
I know who the Lions are.
We'll let you in here in a minute.
Anyway, so tell us some of the hot issues that you found coming into your new office.
Well, I don't think there's any question. The city. Well, a couple of things. First, I love the city of Jackson. It's a great community, wonderful place, lots of great people, and in many ways, it has assets and resources available to it that most other communities do not have. One of the things that I really love about the city is the fact that. Of its location, it's absolutely ideal location, being at the intersection of two major highways. It has tremendous rail service. Delighted with the fact that we've got a Amtrak stop at our historic Jackson rail station. I love our historic profile as a community. Our park system in Jackson is absolutely second to none. Having said all of those things, however, I'd be less than candid if I didn't say that we had our challenges in front of us. We do, so we have to be realistic about them, and we have some issues that we need to get to work on, and we intend to do that.
And what would some of those issues be?
I think one of the principal things that I think we really need to pay some attention to is neighborhood stabilization, neighborhood enhancement and improvements. I think the key to a strong community is strong neighborhoods. I think our neighborhoods in Jackson are under a certain amount of duress, are being challenged by any number of different conditions. And we as a community need to take steps to both plan and understand what actions need to be taken to stabilize our neighborhoods and what needs to be done to enhance our neighborhoods.
Any ideas on how you're going to do that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There you go. Absolutely. One of the things that we need to get a handle on is what the status is in terms of the number of vacant residential structures that exist in the city of Jackson.
I'm shocked at those numbers.
Well, we really don't know what those numbers are. You know, you'll hear a range anywhere from 700 to 1,400
Right.
Vacant residential structures in the city. About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we internally, administration, formed an internal housing task force, and we laid out a number of different charges for that task force. The first thing that we need to do is really get a handle on the facts. How many vacant structures are there in the city? Where are they located? What's their concentration? Let's get them on a map so that we can understand what the impact is, and then based upon that data, conduct an analysis of what intervention strategies might be employed to address those vacant structures. So the first thing we need to know, like any good diagnostician, is we need to know what the status is of vacant structures in the city, and more importantly, how to handle those vacant structures.
And I understand your staff is working on this day and night. They're even out there on weekends.
They are out there on weekends. You know, one of the wonderful things, and I want your listeners to really understand this, one of the great things about the city of Jackson is the absolute dedication of city employees. I have been completely knocked out about their commitment to the city. Our staff has really bought into this notion of the need to get a handle on what's happening in our residential neighborhoods and to prepare the data necessary to make recommendations to our city council in preparation for policy recommendation to them. So our staff has been knocking themselves out. They've been out there on the weekends. They're out there.
And they're doing it without additional pay, from what I understand.
That's exactly right.
Because they're excited about it.
They are very excited about it. They see this and they view this as an opportunity to actually participate in a groundbreaking activity that will preserve and enhance our neighborhoods. Listen, it doesn't get any more fundamental in public service than meeting our neighborhood needs. So people can easily get inspired when you say, listen, we've got neighborhoods that are in balance here. Unless we get onto this, we're going to lose certain neighborhoods in this city. We don't want to see that happen. And we want to make sure that we give the community every opportunity to intervene positively in order to save these neighborhoods and to preserve and enhance our city.
What's your time frame? What's your estimated time frame in getting through all those houses and then putting a plan on the table?
We think we're going to be there in about 40 days in terms of all the data gathering.
40 days from now, or 40 days from the day you started? Okay.
We'll have all the data gathered. We want to do the analysis. What will happen at the end of the process, each property that's vacant will have a fly sheet on it, an information sheet. Where's the property located, its picture, an analysis of those conditions that are affecting the property, and a review of how much it will cost to rehabilitate the property or demolish the property. Then once those numbers are arrayed and totaled, we'll be able to know what our total costs are going to be. We'll be able to recommend on each individual property what the disposition might be, either demolition or rehabilitation. And then at the end of the process, if it's demolition, how does that property get disposed of? Are parcels assembled into larger pieces for redevelopment? Are we recommending that those properties be demolished and those properties be held for the city's interest, parks and open space? Or do those parcels, will the recommendation be that those parcels be subdivided and conveyed to neighbors in order to enhance their lots? So it has to be a soup to nuts kind of thing. We need to be able to go in and say, this is the condition, this is our recommendation, this is the schedule, and this is how we see this playing out completely for the community. The cost, all of that laid out. Then the city council has an opportunity to look at this, ask questions, try to punch holes in it, polish it, make further additional recommendations, either send it back for further review, or hopefully at the end of the day, endorse a policy that allows us to move forward.
How do we rehab neighborhoods? I don't think we have a pot of gold, and just by removing these homes.
I think so. I think there's it's not just as simple as demolition, though. I think I said a little earlier that we want to do everything from soup to nuts. So we want to do the analysis. Demolition is just the intermediate stage. What do we do with that parcel at the conclusion of demolition? Is it going to be properly finished off? Is the lawn going to be taken care of?
That's the key, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Are we going to reforest that land? Are we going to use that land for a city park? Are we going to try to reassemble or assemble all of these pieces into larger pieces that are auctioned off for redevelopment in a particular way? So each one.
Some of the parcels may be more in a commercial zone that need to go towards that.
Absolutely. We're thinking about everything. Curb cuts. The curb cuts won't stay. We want to make sure that the housing stoops and the garages go also. we have a certain amount of resources that's available to us today. We can begin to move on the parcels that are of the highest priority. We've been thinking on a preliminary basis that our attention should be focused on transitional zones in the sense that where we can see that vacancies have not spread dramatically in one area, in a transition zone, work on those transition zones and begin to establish a buffer between neighborhoods that are relatively healthy and strong and vibrant, and those neighborhoods that are severely challenged. So we want to make sure that we kind of develop that buffer and work in towards the areas that have the most amount of blight exhibited in those neighborhoods.
Larry, are you afraid though that it looks like the city's waving the white flag?
What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
Well, like you're kind of giving in that, well, we're never going to get any bigger.
Oh, I see.
You know.
I think it's just the opposite.
Okay.
I think what we're trying to do is face reality. Most of the properties that we're talking about, not all of them, most of the properties we're talking about are both functionally and economically obsolete. And what we mean by functionally obsolete is a residential structure. They're not the type of structure that is well suited for rehabilitation and reoccupation.
Mm-hmm.
They're built in the 20s, they're built in the 30s, very small rooms, incompatible electrical systems, heating systems, weatherization, all of the things that contribute to functional obsolescence. That's the one factor that a lot of these properties exhibit. The other is the economic conditions. This is a city that's lost 7.7% of its population over a decade. We went from roughly 36,500 to 33,500 in a decade. So we have a tremendous amount of inventory out there, and that inventory, and there's not enough people to fill that inventory. So we think, just like any other...
But are we saying there never will be?
Well,
there
let
could
me
be
use an example.
with newer stuff.
Okay.
So, so there's going to be a certain number of these properties that are rehabbed because the cost associated with rehab and the market value of the property are close enough to justify that kind of investment. But there are certain properties that require $200,000 worth of rehabilitation money.
Well, right, that's a no-brainer.
Exactly, and we want to be able to demonstrate that, Greg. We want to be able to say that so that when you're looking at, the devil will be in the details. So we want people to be able to look at this and say, well, gee, here's a property at 131 McGillicuddy Drive. We don't have a McGillicuddy Drive, but I'm just using it. No.
I don't think so. I don't
131. I live next to 131 McGillicuddy Drive, Larry, and I think that's a pretty good house. And we'll say, well, here's the slip. We think it'll cost $200,000 to rehab it. We believe the end of the market value of that property after rehab is going to be $50,000. So in a venue of limited resource, it doesn't make any sense for us to make that kind of investment, either private investment or public investment. We think it makes more sense and adds more value to the community to get that out of there at a fraction of the cost, and then the added value of those lots either conveyed to the neighboring property, thereby stabilizing those properties,
Right, yeah.
or assemblage into a larger piece for redevelopment in a format and in a fashion that adds to the ambiance of that particular neighborhood. So we're looking at enhancing values. So one of the things about neighborhood preservation is that if it's done right, everyone wins. The city wins, the neighborhood wins, and the property owners next door win.
Sure.
So if you're in an occupied structure and you've got a vacant structure next door, I think we're throwing in the towel when we ignore that vacant structure. When we go after that vacant structure and say, listen, we're either going to rehab this place and get it back online so it has value, or we're going to get it out of there. And once you've said that, and once the neighborhood and that neighbor realizes that, it's less likely that that individual will vacate their own structure or try to get out of the city. So I don't think this is an issue that we can wait on or do nothing on. I think if we continue to do nothing, I think it's, what do they call it, a descending spiral. I think that we'll continue to see a gradual deterioration of our neighborhood, and it might actually accelerate given the discouragement that might be found in our property owner population, that these properties aren't being addressed.
That's Jackson City Manager Larry Schaefer. We've got about 3 minutes, Laura.
To finish?
Yeah.
Wow, this is just flying.
Fast
Well, I was
show.
going to comment that I showed a house the other day, and I called the agent. And now someone owns it, but you can't live in it. It's just uninhabitable. And I called the agent and said, you should tell your seller to donate it to the city or whatever. How are you going to accumulate these properties that you're not getting by tax foreclosure, but they're sitting out there that need to be destroyed?
Some of them the county has an interest in, and we're presently talking with the county about that particular interest with the treasurer's office. Some of them the banks have interests in, and once we have the analysis, we'll be able to talk with the banks. Some properties the city already owns.
Yeah, this one is owned by an individual, though. So I wondered if that is going to fall into your plan to
Absolutely.
put those into the pot.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about what it's going to take title to those properties.
Those will be the toughest nuts to crack.
I think
right?
so. I think so.
And as you're talking, I can see how that would improve just in this particular house, or this particular neighborhood. If that house were gone, the neighbors' homes, despite the fact that house is on the market for $7,900, the neighbors' homes values are going to increase once that's gone because it is an eyesore.
Yeah. And the other thing is we can't maintain these properties like we've done in the past. We've got to be diligent about mowing the lawns. We've got to make sure that the stoops and other issues are taken care of and out of there. We have to also add value by maintaining these vacant lots in such a way as to contribute positively to the neighborhood. We just can't simply go in there, demo it, and then let it
go there.
fallow.
Well, it sounds like we just scratched the surface. That a half an hour wasn't going to be enough time with you. We'll have to have you back.
Anytime.
Well, I'm happy to come back at any time if you think this is
You were
good.
able to find us.
Absolutely. If you think this is good, I'd love to come back. I think it's very important
We'll have to
for
hit
me
another topic
communicate.
next time.
Absolutely.
Will be up. Jackie's on vacation this week, so this will be on the World Wide Web probably next week.
Okay.
And so you can go to thinkingrealestate.com. You can call us at 780-3800, and you can get Larry's office at 788-4035. Thanks, Larry, and we'll have
Thank you,
you on
Larry.
again.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Larry Schaefer and Laura Dwyer-Schledke. Homeowners coming up this weekend.
It's the summer
homeowners.
you've been waiting for. The Parade
Home
of
builders.
This
Home
weekend,
builders.
August 25th through the
Is that this
28th.
weekend?
Yeah.
Okay, everything all right?
Yeah, that was great.
Good job.
Perfect.
Good job.
Perfect.
Saturday and Sunday from noon
We didn't get
until
a chance to get into anything controversial.
No, I'm happy to come back anytime you want me. If people like it, I'm happy to come back. And, I see this as a very important part of my job, and sure, happy to do it.
You understood the white flag, what I was saying. Yeah, I knew you.
I didn't.
You did.
It's better to be clear
Yes.
than let your radio out and kind of guess what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, Larry, anytime you got something, call us.
I will. And you're always welcome to call me anytime.